Morning, day 3, journey back to self. So yesterday I spoke about that we anchor in the frequency from the higher part of our soul that gets channeled into what we would call the brain or the mind. And that's how thoughts come in, right? It's a transmission. As I started to speak and I came out here, I hear, it's a raven. I have 8 of them on my back. And I look up and there's one right in the tree next to me and just called out to me. These are downloads, these are signs, because everything's an expression outwardly of our own consciousness. There it goes again. Back into the tree. But to back up from how we receive downloads, I had stated that as children, we're in theta until the age of 7. And what happens as well with our primary caregivers, we touched a little bit on how we can get triggered if we had nonverbal speech and one of our caregivers made a move that felt uncomfortable, did something. It will trigger us later as an adult. And when that happens, when it's usually the person of the same sex, I already spoke about this, makes that same movement, the person gets triggered, but they think it's happening in the moment. They think it's that person. It's got nothing to do with that person. Do you see how everything is an outward projection? And so to back it up a bit, as children, we take on what they call attachment style or attachment theory. There are 4. And it's usually a combination of both of your primary caregivers. And I say primary caregivers because not everybody was raised by their parents. Could be family relatives. It could have been foster homes. And then you get bounced around a lot, right? So the attachment style is formed from the 2 people that you interacted with the most, right? And I have done workshops with this, not personally myself, but attended them. I've done a deep dive into them. If you want any references, Thais Gibson from the Personal Development School is excellent at this. But the 4 styles are secure. That's a child whose needs were met, because here's the reality. Our emotional needs, our physical needs, all these things are met as best they can be by our primary caregivers as a child. And if your needs were really met, you'd have a secure attachment style. Now, could the parents, the primary caregivers, drop everything every time the child needs something? No, that's impossible. But for the most part, these adults now have had very secure relationships growing up with their primary caregivers. Then you have the fearful avoidant. This attachment style is somebody who fears relationship. There's very high and low emotions. And when they get close to somebody, they'll start to sabotage it and run away. It's too much for them. Now, we're a mixture of both. Usually 2 or more, but usually 2. There's a primary and a secondary. There may be a tertiary, I'm not sure. And then you would have, which my mother was, a dismissive avoidant. These children usually have so much placed on them in expectation that they can't live up to it. But they have this thing where their emotions are not truly taken care of. They're taken care of physically. Their clothes are met. The food's met. There's a roof over their head. But the parents, a lot of times with the DAs, they're not able to be there emotionally because they can't be emotional with themselves, right? So it creates this, I want love and connection, but I'm going to control the relationship. And see, I knew it. I knew you would leave me, right? And they'll point the finger at the other person when in actuality, everything is coming out from the internal, right? So that's dismissive avoidant. We all crave love and affection. But when they get it, they get scared and they want to control everything, right? And they'll see it as, you're going to smother me. This is too much. Well, normal relationships, you interact with each other. That's just how it is. But every attachment style has a skewed view on what relationship is. And then we have the anxious attachment, where they really crave intimacy and love, but they're also a fear of rejection and abandonment because they've experienced that in the past. Now, I've done mine. Mine is more secure, had a little bit of anxious there. Not anymore because I've done a lot of work around that. But my dad was totally anxious. He just worshiped my mom, and she was a complete dismissive avoidant, even into her aging, where I would see my dad go to grab her hand and he'd push her away. And I remember him saying to me at the end of his life, he's like, I don't know why she does that. I'm like, because she can't feel here, Dad. So she can't give you what she doesn't have. That's just how it is. And I quickly realized that I wasn't going to do this in partnership. So I made an exit out of one that I was in. I'm like, I'm not doing this. This is, again, I'm stepping into something that was part of my reality. And so I could heal it. And then I realized I'm going to do this on my own. I'm going to do this healing. And actually, it's been 6 years and I've been doing the work on my own. Not jumping from partner to partner, not feeling the need to like have somebody there. Like, I love where I'm at. My wish for everybody is that you feel so comfortable in your own skin that even though as humans, we do desire partnership and closeness because it's part of our soul essence, that you could walk on your own. And if somebody shows up, great. If not, you're loving your life. So these are the attachment styles. This is part of the consciousness, part of the human aspect of Journey Back to Self, is remembering that you came in as a soul, but you're in this human experience and you have picked up things, subconscious programming from your primary caregivers. And a major part of that is your attachment style. So again, Thais Gibson, the Personal Development School, go check her out. You can do the test and then do your work.